This week's peaceful pattern is called Veruca. It is gorgeous and it screams spring. So please join me. The step outs are great, so make sure you stay to the end and you can see how you can take one simple idea of a pattern and turn it into something wonderful. So before we get started though, let's start at the beginning. Hi everyone, it's K-Red and welcome to my 2025 Peaceful Patterns Weekly Challenge. By creating a new tile each week, together we can learn something new or be reminded of an old favorite, but most important, find some peace and calm in the chaos of this world. Yes. I've been wanting to do some spring tingling. I've been real sure where to start, so this will be a great way for me to get going. And I'm going to go ahead and do things just a little bit out of order this time. If you've watched my other peaceful patterns, you'll know that I poke a hole in my cards so that I can add them to my peaceful patterns pack. I'm making one each week, and by the end of the year we will have many wonderful ones to look at. But here, if you take a look, this pattern, it is called Wriggle, and I punched a hole right through the top of mine. So I tried to redraw it and skidding it off to the side, but it made me realize I really needed to poke my hole in first. So that's what we have done to begin with, and now we're going to go ahead and start with one. So for one, we're going to do 2 parallel lines that have a topper, kind of a funny shaped T. And that's all there is to start. You can do this, anybody can do this. I don't care how much you think you can't do art, I promise you, you can do this. So for step 2, we do the same 2 lines with a topper. Now I'm going to switch to my red pen so that when I look back at this card 1 week from now, 1 month from now, 5 years from now, I'll know what to do. And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to close those off into half circles. Once we've done that, we're going to fill it in. Now at the end, we're going to make a couple of these all at once without the steps, and it's all going to be in one color. So you wouldn't normally do this in a different color, but this is just so that I can have the steps in the future. And that's step 2. Just like that. So now that we've done that, let's do it one more time. Step 1 with the skinny parallel lines with a funny T-topper. Step 2 is where we take that topper and we turn them into little half circles on either side of the parallel line, and we color them in. Just super easy, just like that. Makes it look like the stem's going right into the base. Then all we have to do is an aura around that. And that, oh, I didn't do it in red. My goodness, people. Were you screaming at me? Did you yell? You didn't do it in red. These pens that I use are dual tip pens. It's got a fine point on one side and a felt on the other. I don't want to redo this card, so I think what I'm just going to do is use the felt side lightly and go over it with the red. I think that will go ahead and work okay for me in the future. To remember that I just kind of did a little boo-boo there. But that's all right. We're all friends. That's the worst mistake I've made today. I've had a pretty awesome day. So we have our 2 parallel lines in the top T. We're going to make that circle. This is steps 1. And now we're filling in. That's step 2. Now we're going to do step 3, which is that aura. Just a nice, pretty aura. And of course, you can make it however you would like. Draw nice and slow. For me, drawing these circles right to left is the smoothest and easiest. But whichever way your natural hand goes is the right way. So this time I'm going to remember to step over to my red pen. And I'm going to start by drawing a petal. And all this petal is a partial circle. Now you can call it a super long C, backwards C really though, a long petal leaf, but basically it's just going up and down. We're going to see a lot of variations, so we can do it a lot of different ways. But from here, we're going to come right off of it and just slowly descend in size until we get down to where we feel the bottom should be. We do that on one side, and then we're going to turn around, and we're going to do that on the other side. Now ideally, we want to try to make them the same width. We want to try to make them spacing, descending the same. But in doodling, the joy of it doesn't have to be exact. And nature is very forgiving and can become beautiful with all the different steps. And those are really the only steps there are. Let's go ahead and do one more. We're going to call it 5, and we're going to put all of it together. So step 1, a thin parallel line with a T. I promise you, you can do it. Step 2 is where we add on that with the circles, and we color it in. Coloring it in can be the hardest part of this one, because if you're hypercritical like me, maybe you're not doing it right. Try real hard not to be critical. What I typically do is the outside, I just trace it, keep tracing it in, and then I can just fill in the middle. But if you'll notice, it's pretty forgiving. It doesn't have to be exact for it to look right. Then from there, we're going to do an aura, as big or as thick as we'd like. It's usually best to try to make it the same all the way through and to finish next to it. Once again, we just do the best we can. So now I did my center petal, one circle, and then I don't redraw each circle because it's kind of hard to make sure you always follow that line. Just go down a ways and make a C and go down. Down and a C. And on these, the lines are going pretty straight down. They're not coming into a point. And they're just descending down. And that is Veruca. So shall we do just a little bit of shading on it and see how we'd like it shaded? Not real sure how to shade this one, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to do some right here at the base so that it'll look like it's going behind it. And then I'm going to spread it up just like that. Now, once again, if your critical voice is going, these erasers, they're a mono zero. They make a square and a circle. I love them. So if you pop out and you think, oh, I'm not real happy with that, and a big eraser won't do it, you can just get a little one to do that. And then for these, let's add just some shade at the bottom. We could try to do it behind each petal and do that. But I think what I would just like is a little bit of pencil at the base. And then I'm going to go from the bottom. I'm just going to pull it up. You're literally just smearing the pencil. And I'll go about halfway up. And then I'll come back and I'll make my tips perfectly clean with the eraser. And that way you can see the most difference. What do you think? Do you like it? Are you a fan? I really am. But let's look at some variations. So because I use these cards for variations in the future, I'm going to want to see a few different ways to do this. So let's start with step 1, which will be the 2 thin lines. I made it kind of long because I'm going to be doing a couple of them, and I have a nice little area up here now. I'm going to put my T on it. I'm going to add that T to half circles. Alrighty, and now that I have those half circles, I'm going to color them in. And the way I do that is I do the outside edges very slow, and then the inside. What pen you use is always personal preference. I'll use different ones depending on my mood. But for my peaceful patterns, for these little step outs, I do really like this Micron PN pen. It's got a really nice tip on it. It's pretty forgiving. So that's what I'm using today, and it is one that I always like. So let's do our very first one the same, just so we can have it down here. And we're just going to keep going down. Remember to breathe, go nice and slow, so you can have that. And then let's do another one. This one I'm going to do a little shorter and kind of a curve on it. But I'm still going to do the T. I'm going to do the circle on each side. Probably sounds like I'm saying the same things over and over again, but that's the pattern. You know what I forgot? Did you scream at me? We forgot the aura, didn't we? So we'll go ahead and we'll add an aura now. But yep, I gotta be careful. I forgot the aura. But if you do forget the aura, it still works. It's still nice. It's not bad. But this one, we remembered the aura on. So on this one, rather than the straight up and down, let's do kind of a crowns that are descending. And for these, I start at the bottom and I go up to a point and then I come down the same way. And sometimes it's even fun to kind of have one that's pointing down. We'll add a couple in the middle so it has a whole bunch of them. So that's one variation. Let's do another one. Sometimes as I'm talking, I get a little ahead of myself, thinking about what I'm going to draw next. When you are doing these in your drawings, and when I do these in my drawings, I try real hard not to do that. And try to just take them all as they come. So on this one, let's go up and do kind of a square little rectangle like that. And then the same thing we did here, we're going to come off and go down in varying little lines. What do you think of that one? Kind of like a thick fan. I like it. So then let's do another one. We're going to make this one tall and curvy, like right off of it. So we're going to make our T go this way. I'm going to turn my paper a little bit so it makes it a little bit easier. Not going to forget my aura. I'm going to try to remember that. I get so excited to get to the petals. So on this one, let's go ahead and go back to where we're doing this. And we're going to go ahead and do them descending still. But rather than stopping, let's continue it all the way around. That way it can look a little bit like the flower goes all the way around. Should we do one more? Let's do one more over here. Then we're going to close them off on the circles. I'm a little close to that plant, so what should we do on the top of this one? How should we make this petal look? Let's not forget our aura. I do think that aura is important. I think it adds a really nice dimension all the way around it. So I do think it's important. And let's see about what if we did kind of an alternating. It sounds like it's raining outside. I'm not sure if my mic's picking that up or not. Kind of like a little alternating little circles off of it. What do you think? I have little spikes going. Even some maybe little curvy ones as well. a lot of fun. That's just a lot of fun. So go ahead and give myself a little bit of a curvy line on the base. I always like for my botanicals and my flowers to have a fun little bottom on them. Let's see about doing some shading. So I think what I'd like to do is, let's descend this one down just a little bit more. There we go. I'm happy with that. When we extended out the aura, it made it a little bit larger. So we're going to add probably a little bit down here at the base of the plants. Let's go ahead and do a little bit at the top so it'll look like they're going in to there. Let's go ahead and blend those out. So then on this one, we definitely have some that are going behind each other because I kind of added them in behind it so that it would look like it was a super full plant. So let's give those a little bit and then just use the extra on the tortillon for the front ones. And then on this one, let's do a thin line where each one's next to each other. I mentioned that we could have done that on that one. Let's do it on this one. And basically what we're wanting is just to get lighter as it comes in. So let's grab our eraser a little bit. These are awful fine, so we'll just pick up a little bit. I have a rubber eraser, not my favorite to use, but this would have been a good one for a rubber eraser just to pick up a little bit so it's not quite so much pencil on there. Then on this one, I think we probably definitely want some shade on this bottom so that it'll look like it is behind. Look, I have a tendency to hold in my left hand my utensils so I don't have to keep picking them up. Do you do that? How do you keep from dropping them on the floor? That's what I need to learn. And on this one, we're going to make it sharp here because we're missing our aura going around. And then on this one, what it would look like, I'm not sure that I would do this in a one, but we'll see, an aura on the top. And once again, I used just the pencil that was on the pen, or on the blending tool, so that I could have it be super soft without any line. Let's go ahead and blend this down. And then on these, I don't think I'm going to put anything on those, but I think I'll color in the aura. Let's go ahead and just have the whole thing be kind of a shaded in there. And there we go. What do you think? Did it spark any ideas for you? What tops do you think you could add? I got room for a little one right here. What could we do? Could add like a little bulb on the ends of these. That would be cute. Make it even more like a crown. That's the thing about Zentangle, right? Every time you think you're done, you're all like, oh, I could go back and do this. But this, once again, is called Veruca. So it's Veruca. And it's by Veronica Viquez Roscoe. I may have misspelled that or missaid that. If I did, I apologize. But she is a CZT, and of course I found it on tanglepatterns.com. I am extremely excited about this pattern. I am glad to be able to add it to my pack. And I cannot wait to play with it on a future spring drawing. I am working right now on a little circle Zentangle and spiral art with some circles, so I want to finish that. But once I finish that, I am feeling the spring, and looking forward to spring. So, be safe, have fun. Please like and subscribe. It does wonders for my little channel as we, together, as non-artists, not a certified Zentangle instructor. I'm just somebody with a stressful job who wants to learn to doodle, and I can use all the help I'm finding online. I want to share it with you all. See you all next week. Bye-bye.